Okay, welcome to everybody for this very important day for us at H. Moser and MB&F. I really enjoy launch days because they're usually the how do you say aboutissement? They're the end of years of working together, and particularly when it's a collab and with our friends of H. Moser, where we've had a lot of fun, but we've created an incredible piece. And I'll let Edouard take it from here for now.
You know, I'm just thinking about it. I think the last collab we did a few years ago, it was during COVID, so we couldn't even launch it together. No. So I think it's the first time we're actually standing here on stage together, and it's a pleasure to be with Max and with all of you. I'm super excited to see so many people, so many friends, and I hope you will like what you see today. It's a pleasure for us, I think, MB&F and H. Moser to be present at Geneva Watch Days for the 3rd edition. We're both founding members, so it's been an amazing journey to see now so many people coming, this thing expanding, this idea of collaboration. It's really a human-based project with amazing people, big brands, small brands, but there's no actually big brands and small brands. Everybody is equal. And I think that's the base of collaboration. And collaboration is going to be a term that I think we use a lot today. Collaboration is Geneva Watch Days, but it's also Only Watch. I think with Moser, we started Only Watch.
You've got it.
I'm hearing myself?
Yeah, it's okay, it's not there.
In 2011 was the first time I joined Only Watch. I think, Max, maybe you were there before. I loved what Luc has developed, the energy he brought, an amazing cause, amazing projects, amazing innovations have been brought to Only Watch. It's become a huge project for everyone. We start discussing projects way ahead, and we will talk and give you a little bit of the background of our project. Now, but you need to understand, I mean, you finish one, you're already working on the next one, but sometimes it takes even more than 2 years to develop something. So you need to start before that if you want to create something that will be amazing, because it's the point there. I think for us, it's to bring something that will help, and to help, you need to create something that is amazing. Max?
So, yes, I had the privilege of meeting Luc Pétavino in 2004 when he decided to launch Only Watch. I was still at Harry Winston in those days. And I met Luc and his family. I think it's important that we all recognize what Only Watch is. It's become such an important watch event that we've forgotten what it is for. It is there to have funds to research against muscular dystrophy, which is an illness which is absolutely horrendous, which hits boys, not girls, it's genetic, and where they lose their muscles, and around 7, 8, they're on wheelchairs. And then at 15, they're probably not there anymore. So let's just take a step back and think of that. When I met Luc, whose son Paul had muscular dystrophy, it was, wow, it was an opening for me. I didn't have kids in those days, and now I have. I even realized much more what it means, and we decided to accompany him. So for MB&F, it was 2009 where we did the first piece, and it's been quite a journey. And as you say, it's not only pushing us to find great products, it's accompanying something which really is meaningful. Why? Oh, sorry, why? Why how long have I known the Meylan family is much more than 2004, which is pretty amazing. In 1990, I was a student. I did an internship at Audemars Piguet.
I wasn't born.
You were not born? You were young. And God, I feel old suddenly. And the co-CEO was Georges-Henri Meylan, Bertrand and Edouard's dad. So that's why I met Georges-Henri for the first time. Then I got to know Edouard and Bertrand. And actually, we started working together way before we did a collab. And we started working with H. Moser in 2011 when we launched LM1, because the hairspring which equips the legacy machine #1 comes from Precision Engineering, which is the company owned by H. Moser. And since then, we've been working with them, working with their hairsprings. Now, I think I'm supposed to press these things. So typically, the double hairspring that we have on the LM101. In 2020, and we'll definitely remember that collab, not only because it was an insane collab, but because it came out in June 2020. Remember that lockdown was in March 2020. We'd been working a good 2 years pre and prior on that. A double collab. So the team at H. Moser redesigns our LM101, bringing their concept with the dial without numerals, the double hairspring, and of course their beautiful fumé dials. I made their life a little bit more miserable, whereas they had to go three-dimensional, and we had this dial which was at an angle, which is one of our symbols, and what they did was amazing, put the cylindrical hairspring into the tourbillon which got out of the base plate. It was a double collab, it was amazing, and it actually led on to the piece that you guys presented at Only Watch 2 years ago, which did a pretty amazing result. And so from there, and actually a little bit prior, Edouard was always saying, like, why don't we do something else for Only Watch?
No. First, you came to me after the big success from the first one and said, that was fun. When do we do another collaboration? And we said, good things can happen all the time, so we need an amazing idea before we do the next one. So
there was a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of pressure on that one.
The same thing again, so we need to do something different. And maybe what we're doing today is that different thing.
And so, I don't get this wrong. So, of course, you've seen that there's a panda. I just wanted to come back to the panda, because a lot of people think, oh, it's just cute. The panda, for us, is the symbol of children who have muscular dystrophy and are in pain and suffering, but dream of a better life. So in 2011, we came out with the flying panda on our HM4, and the symbol was, it's a child who's suffering, but all children dream that they're flying. It's amazing that as adults, we lose those dreams. And so that little child is dreaming that he's flying, and it enables him to escape. It's something which is very important for us. 10 years later, we brought the panda, that was Only Watch 2 years ago. And therefore, we decided to go one step further with the symbol of this panda. Oops, going back. So going the symbol of this panda, where you saw maybe on the teasers, he's a DJ. So because music allows you to escape what you're living, but actually when you are a DJ, you're active. It was a really important factor. So this little panda, and he's very, very little, is a very important part in the emotional part of the watch, but then you're going to see that incredible technical feat which has been done. I just want to say that this creation is an economical insanity. I don't know what was wrong with us when we decided this.
Probably why we teamed up.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have gone down what we've done. We've created one movement that Edouard's going to show you for one time, for one watch. And that is also pretty spectacular.
It's also one case.
Exactly.
It's one watch with everything is made once for this occasion. And yes, when we talked about it, when was it? Almost 2 years ago with Max, we said let's do something for Only Watch, and we came up with drawings, and then we said, yeah, but that means we need to develop that movement. And then we have great ideas. Max has great ideas, and then you meet the people in the team, and you say, we're going to do this, and they're like, but for when? And we said, yeah, for Only Watch. I was like, it's impossible. Well, of course, in the watch industry, they always say it's impossible, but in the end, it's possible. So we're super proud to introduce today, and I'm sure you want to see it, the Streamliner Pandamonium by MB&F and H. Moser. We had also a lot of discussions about the name. I think you guys came up with the name.
Yeah, you have to be a bit of an English speaker to understand what that means. Pandamonium.
But yeah, I will go in details about the watch, but first I want to present it to you with great pride, a small movie, and then we'll talk about more the technical details afterwards. Do you like it? So yeah, it's a Streamliner. I remember when we started discussing and drawings with Max, you told me that's a very Moser watch, but I don't think it's a Moser watch.
Yeah, it's a Streamliner case, Fumet dial, hands of the concept, the minute repeater that basically that you'd had already developed. I was like, okay, this is really going to be a Moser with a little touch of MB&F. And actually, I think when I look at it today, it's really a perfect mix of both our worlds.
I think we try always to take iconic elements from both brands. The idea is, when you have a child together, it should look like the parents. So I think that's what we achieved. Again, a little bit like in the previous collaboration. For Moser, obviously, we try for Only Watch to take things that have been working over the years that we combine together to make something, again, unique, a unique movement, a unique case. This is a Streamliner in 42.3 millimeter. We launched the Streamliner also in 2020, just before COVID. After many years of working on an integrated steel bracelet, we wanted something different. Always, we need, as an independent brand, something different. It took us almost 7 years in developing with a lot of iterations. And I remember Max saying, wow, you did something very different that I think you appreciated as well. I
saw that in Dubai Watch Week. He showed me a sneak preview on his wrist. And everybody at some point was doing a steel-on-steel bracelet sports watch. Let's admit that's been the whole thing in the last 5 to 10 years. And I saw that, I was like, wow. That's not only different, but it's really handsome. So it's one of my really favorite sports watches.
So I will talk about the movement, but starting with the case. This is a steel case. Steel is obviously very good for the sound with the elastic module. But we worked very hard on developing this unique case in 42.3 millimeter with a very dome crystal. Not so big like the previous ones or the previous collaboration. Still very wearable. 42.3, so you can put it in perspective, is this size in diameter. That's the chrono and the perpetual that we have at each Moser. Obviously, we need a big dome on top of it, so it makes it 17 millimeters high with the dome and 12 without the dome. Of course, it's because of your balance wheel, double hairspring that need space. As I said, we allowed it, so we have a good sound box. We need resonance, so we worked on the dimensions inside the case to make sure that we get a clear and very vibrating sound, which is the key with any miniature repeaters. I always love to say that miniature repeaters is a combination of technology and art. We also worked on the trigger, which is incorporated directly into the main plate in Teflon, so we can reduce and could keep the size reasonable. Sorry, I have a lot of technical things that I don't want to forget. Then we started on the movement. The movement, the original is the 805 for Moser with a double hairspring, with a tourbillon. But then it was a lot of work based on this one to develop this unique movement, the 906, which is the movement that we have here. We had to change the gears. It's a different frequency. We went from a 3 hertz to a 2.5 hertz, which is the double hairspring balance wheel from we use it on the LM M101. We had to modify the gongs. I'll talk about the gongs afterwards, the hammers as well. As I said, the gearings. A lot of work with the teams. We worked also with Timeless, who are the experts for us for the tuning of the miniature repeater, and thanks to them for this beautiful achievement. About the movement, it has 395 components, if I remember well. 56 hours power reserve. As I said, it's 2.5 hertz, so you can really enjoy the beauty of the balance wheel rotating. On top of that, we have ruthenium on finishing, very modern. I will show you the movement right now, with obviously the names of the both brands standing out there, and skeletonized as much as possible so we can enjoy also the gears at the back. For me, when I grew up, the miniature repeater was always the complication that I was most fascinated with. I was always a little bit frustrated because it was always hidden. It was always at the back. I had bought pretty early on eBay some pocket watch miniature repeaters. That's the only one we could afford. And then I always wanted to develop a miniature repeater with the gongs at the front, so you can really enjoy the choreography at the same time as you can hear it. Here the complexity is obviously because of the bridge of the balance wheel. It doesn't leave us with a lot of space. Also because we wanted to put the panda, but really the idea was to go to the essence of the function. And you see here the time is almost not there. I actually almost considered not putting the time on the watch, but here, if you look carefully on the top right hand, almost 2 o'clock, you see the hand. So the time is there, but in the Moser style, very minimalistic. We call that the concept dials.
We worked a lot also on the bridges where they were supposed to be, because there's what you can do and what you want to do, and it ended up having this pretty bold decision of taking the bridge coming from underneath. So even internally, people started putting the watch upside down because they always expect the bridge to come from on top. But at the end of the day, I think it gives it that much more character.
And when we made it also difficult to put it inside the case, I think we had to modify even the case to come from the front. We couldn't come from the back as we traditionally do. So let's look at the little panda. Who had the idea of the panda? I think it was. Who in your team?
I think it's usually Arnaud in our team.
Yeah,
he's Mr. Panda.
Okay.
And he's the man who brings
on the
the
Zoom,
panda.
we said we need the panda in there. And it was like, yeah, but there's no space for a panda in there. Where do we put the panda? But actually, it's key. I mean, this panda is the DJ, and you can see the small plates are moving when we activate it. But creating this panda, I mean, this one is pretty big. But imagine this is. This is
20 centimeters.
The other one is 5.3 millimeters.
Yeah.
But first we started, where do we have space? How do we do it? And I think you had an amazing person who could do this.
So the miniature, I mean, the whole process between the molding, the hand engraving, the hand painting by a miniaturist. And it's true, when you blow up the pictures like that, you're like, well, yeah, but you have to imagine. And there's one of the things which really makes me sad today is that we don't have the watch. We're doing a press conference, we don't have the watch, because the watch has been given to the only watch exhibit organization which is going to go touring around the world.
But yeah, so the process to develop it, first we had a lot of discussion in finding the cutest panda. So a lot of designing, 3D designing, and then creating the first molds. In the panda like this one, we had multiple molds because the headset is one mold, the panda itself, the base is a different mold, and then it's all made in gold. You need then hand engraving, fix them together by laser, and then of course, the artist comes again into the picture and hand paint. That I think we see it very nicely in the next picture. That gives you a little bit of a perspective of the size, as Max mentioned before. This is the panda here in the hand. Do we have one here of the panda, the small ones?
Unfortunately, no.
Very, 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 very small. Here the dimensions. I said it's 5.3, and if you look at the nose of the panda, I think it's even like 0.3 or something millimeters, 0.9. Everything hand painted, incredible work from the artisans. Even I think the smallest part are actually the plates. I think they're 1.75 millimeters in diameter and 0.3 millimeters high, and they're actually moving. So they fix on the activation of the hammers. So when the hammers move, the plates are moving as well. Oh, sorry, maybe just to mention also one of the challenge that we had was the gongs. The gongs are very important in minute repeater. Here we had to shape them, put them on top of each other, so both gongs are on top of each other, and they had to go around the bridges again, the iconic bridges from the LM101, and therefore we had to coil them in two directions. One direction up around the bridges and back down, which also forced us to change and to work on the cinematic of the hammers so that it works properly. So it's, again, as we said, 2 years of development for a new movement, a new case for an amazing result.
And so this piece, as I was saying, unfortunately is not here today. As you know, Only Watch goes on tour. I want to also thank 1 Hour Watch Lee who did all these great drawings for us. And so it's going to go around the world. I hope all of you in your different markets will be able to see it then. And of course, it comes back to Geneva for the auction. we decided, because we all fell in love with our little panda, so we decided to do I have it here, this little sculpture, which has been edited based on the original design by Blondelienne. There'll be 30 of them. And the number one will, the number one will be auctioned this evening. As you may know, there's an auction done by Philips with Aurel. Again, it's about giving back. And in this term, the auction is actually going to help youngsters doing the watchmaking school of Geneva. So that we'll auction that. One of the pieces is, of course, going to be given to the person who wins the auction of the watch. And there's a surprise. There is one for one of you guys. So there's a little panda here. We've made a smaller one. There's a lot of pandas around. And so in one of these bags, come afterwards when we finish and after the Q&A, and there is a golden ticket you guys have put into it.
No, you signed it.
Yeah, but I think you put it into it. And so it's the golden ticket, and the person who gets the golden ticket wins the sculpture of one of the 30. So there you go. Have I forgotten something? Do we go to Q&A?
No, make sure you come tonight to bid on the other one if you don't win this panda this morning.
There you go. Any questions? Sasha, sorry.
Why did you decide this time to do Moser MB&F versus MB&F Moser?
Because originally, as it was a Streamliner, for me it was a Moser, where we brought the flying balance wheel. So for me, from the beginning, I told Edouard it's going to be an H Moser X MB&F.
But we started with everything MB&F X Moser because it was very Moser. So and then we changed it.
At the end of the day, these are discussions which actually happen around a drink. Sorry, please.
You were saying it's economic insanity. So are you not planning on using at least parts of it? I mean, without the panda, with something else there, for future?
Well, in the last 3 months, I've been banging my head against the wall when we finally saw the piece. And I told my team, like, shouldn't we do like a limited edition of Legacy Machine using that insane movement? That would be so cool. And my team said, no, we said we're only going to do one. So we're only going to do one.
That's, I think, the beauty of Only Watch. I mean, I think we achieved a lot of things over the years with both the brands as we're doing very well. And I think this the fact that we can commit on that, on saying we do one watch, but we create it once with one movement, with one case. I think that's the beauty of it. There's tons of ideas. We'll do other things. We'll do other miniature repeaters. We'll do other streamliners. We'll do other legacies. I hope Max does a miniature repeater in his collection,
yeah,
and I'm pushing him to do it. It shouldn't look like this one, but it should be because I would love to see how. And I'm sure it would be crazy, and it would be something else. And I think, and I hope this brings inspiration to Max as much as it has brought inspiration to me for future products.
A little bit of frustration is very good for inspiration.
Because you will need to do even better. Yeah. I'm sure you can.
Please.
Could you estimate how much, when you talk about economic nightmare or economic insanity, can you talk about the cost of man hours, the cost of materials, the cost of research and development to develop one watch like this for both of you?
It's very difficult. We had the discussion with Max because we have to split the cost at some point. And I called him the other day. I'm like, how many hours did we put in that? At some point we said we're not going to count the hours because there's everything. Like the way the team worked incredibly a lot on developing all those amazing designs, the content creation, designing the panda, all those things. It's not only about the watch. So putting everything together is impossible. What we know is how much the development of the parts and the movement, etc. And that's a few $100,000. But everything together, again, I think for us, it's also an investment in creativity, in pushing ourselves, our team, for the future. We learned so much from the first collaboration. I think that's something we discussed a lot in the past. We work very differently, Max and I, and I think his team and our team. And the fact that we work together on a project like this one, when Max is obsessed with details and like would break my head on certain things, and I'll be like, no, let's be pragmatic, and then let's do it this way because we just have to do it because we're also in a different segment as our brands. That was an amazing experience. I learned a lot, and maybe I'm a bit more pushy on my team on certain details since then, and I hope it's the same on the other side as well.
Yeah, we've learned a lot, and it's a great point. How to put this? I always thought that my goal at MB&F was to create great products. It's always been about that next great product, and you realize 18 years around the road that the journey is actually more important. The creative journey of when I come from my HM1, which is the only idea I had when I created the brand, to where we are today, and the human journey. And that's why I love collabs, and I only collab with people I really appreciate. And to do a collab, to be a successful collab, you need a certain amount of, I'll say, characteristics. First, you need both persons, or both teams, to want to create a great product. If one just wants to make money and the other wants to create product, it doesn't work. So that's the first thing. The second, you need the same enthusiasm and values. And the third, we creators, we tend to have an ego, I was told. And so you need that ego not to be too big, because we're going to do, you have to allow the other world to come into your world, and that person has to allow my world to. And so I've been doing this for decades now. And if we're doing this again with Edouard and his team, it's because it's fun.
First of all, congratulations for the watch. I'm sure it will raise a lot of money, and it's good for the children. Do you have any idea of maybe creating a mechanical machine on its own with the panda DJ, like automation? Automation, is that the correct word?
Yeah, an automate. Yeah.
Automate. Thank you, Max.
You've just given me the idea. So I shouldn't do these press conferences. Thank you. S'il vous plaît.
But if you don't talk about the money, do you know how much the estimate is going to be for the?
So I think in these only watch auctions, everybody puts a low estimate and hopes that it blows it away. I think here a standard minute repeater, there's nothing standard, but I mean a H. Moser minute repeater retails
350.
350. So I think we put like 300, 400 as if it was a normal piece, and then the sky's the limit, because we are completely, we can create the piece, we can talk about it, and then it's in the lives of the people who want it.
Of course, we're going to be a little bit stressed on the day of the auction, and we both hope that it will, be for us both a record. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think we have put everything where we could in creating something that is amazing, again, to help and push boundaries. And I think the result is beyond what we expected 2 years ago when we started the project. And I hope there's somebody, at least 2 people around the world who believe the same way and will be ready to fight for it.
Please, Nadia.
Thank you. You said you discussed this over a drink. I would like to know when you're going to have a drink together again.
So
Max doesn't drink that much, you know.
Yeah, having a drink with me is not much fun. I mean, idea-wise, yes, there's no alcohol. And so the point is, when we did our very first collab, I remember Edouard was immediately like, well, let's try and do something. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. We have to do something much more impactful next time. And that takes time. And so it's been 2020, 2023. Honestly, we've gone super fast when you think of what's been done. Next one has to be something which is going to amaze you. Because if it doesn't amaze you, it means it hasn't amazed us. And so we'll see.
But we can still have drinks and not create a collaboration afterwards.
What's the point of a drink then?
Again, there's many ways to collaborate. This is the tip of the iceberg when you see the watch. But again, we talk on a regular basis. You talk to my brother on a regular basis. I think a lot of the independence, and again, going back to Geneva Watch Days, the purpose of gathering here and meeting people is also to exchange ideas. We talk about the markets and what do you do here? What do you think about that? And try to, at our small size, to benefit from the experience of one another. And I think that's something that we've done pretty well over the years, and that helped us take the right decisions, strategic decisions, both on the production side, but also on the commercial side. So it's definitely worth paying for the drink.
Thank you very much to everybody. It's been a great pleasure and honor, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
So it's time for the golden ticket now.
Yep. So everybody, please have a dig in.